Hi guys, and welcome back to World of Tanks. And today I'm continuing with the cheap and cheerful sort of side of the premium tanks in World of Tanks, and I'm looking at the Tier 2 Russian Tetrarch. And also another reason why I'm looking at this now, because again it's one of those that I'm surprised I've not done already, because I've had it for a while, don't have a lot of XP on it. I'll explain why afterwards. But yeah, I had it for a while, thought I might have reviewed it already, but I haven't, and it's going into the premium tech tree tomorrow. Now, most of the tier 2s, I'm just going to talk about its price first quickly. Most of the tier 2 premiums are around 750 gold. This one is a little bit more expensive. Not quite sure why exactly, but it's listed in Tankopedia at 1,000 gold, which is, well, let's face it, that's a bit more than a lot of the tier 3 premiums, and it's sort of getting up to the price of a tier 4 premium. The B2, is it the B2? The German one, I think, is 1250. So yeah, a little bit high on the price. Not quite sure why, but it is fun. Definitely fun. It's still cheap. Not as cheap as the others, but it is good fun. And I've been zipping about in this, making myself feel a bit dirty, seal clubbing. And although it was good fun, there was some guilt involved as well. But anyway, let's have a look at it. So, if I remember rightly, historically with tanks, I'm not 100% up on them. I'm learning, you know. I've always sort of kind of been into them, but not in a big way, until I started playing World of Tanks, and I've been learning a bit more. But anyway, if I remember rightly, it's actually a Vickers tank, or a Vickers Armstrong, Mark 7, I think. Also designated possibly the A17 or the Tetrarch, and I think were given to Russia as part of a Lend-Lease program. But again, could be wrong on that. I'm just trying to remember, and I can't find my notes, and I need to get this done now because I'm running out of time before my kids come home. So yeah, little tier 2 runabout, quite a decent punchy little gun on it actually. 21 rounds a minute. It's a quick fire 2-pounder, 64 pen and 45 damage, which is not too much higher than a lot of the sort of lights and mediums down at tier 2, but it is a bit higher, and the rate of fire is quite good as well. So yeah, it's quite a punchy little gun, and 121 to fall back on your premium rounds as well. I do carry a few HE in this, because down at tier 2, 23 pen, that's quite a lot. This has only got, I think, 16 mil of frontal armour, so you know, it can do it, and with the 60 damage, it's fairly hefty damage. I mean, in theory, I suppose you could just fire nothing but HE out of this thing down at tier 2, but when you get into tier 3 matches, you'll probably struggle. Aiming time's not great, though, at 2.29 seconds, but that's pretty standard for these lower tier Russians. They don't have great aiming times. Some of the low tier tanks do have pretty good aiming times. This is not one of them. And accuracy, again, not great at 0.40. When you're firing on the move, which you'll see in one of the videos I'm going to show you, it's not particularly accurate at firing on the move unless you're very close. So don't do what I did in one of the videos and keep firing on the move before you get close, because, well, your ammunition runs out. Traverse on the hull is 51 degrees a second, really good. Traverse on the turret 44, again, very good. I've not really noticed that make a difference. You know, sometimes when your turret traverses slower than your hull, your turret sometimes struggles to keep up. It kind of does a little bit if you're doing very, very tight turns, circling stuff. But I've barely noticed. It's mostly just when I've handbraked it that it's really sort of come into it. Pretty poor view range at 260. I'll say poor, again, quite average for the tier. Just one of those things. And a 545 metre signal range, which is better than some of the stuff down at tier 2, so it's not too bad. And you get a 180 horsepower engine, which doesn't sound a lot, but it's a small tank. This is my own account, as you can see there. Equipment wise, I've just stuck vents and GLD on it at the moment, gun lane drive. You could stick coated optics on there as well if you wanted, or maybe the thing for the tracks. I haven't done yet because I'm being tight, and I've just taken a big hit to my money with buying the STI and trying to get that sort of done up with equipment as well. In fact, no, you can't put the track thing on here, so yeah, probably coated optics personally. Coated optics, you can't put a gun rammer, so yeah, coated optics, GLD and vents, maybe, if you wanted to. It is a tier 2 at the end of the day, so maybe you don't want to spend that money on it. Crew, I'm not going to go into really, again, because like I say with these cheaper ones, these really low tiers, you generally don't have a fantastic crew in them, just to sit in them. Normally you'll transfer, you know, a crew out of a decent tech tree, you want to stick it in it, or use it as a crew trainer. So That's why I generally don't go on about crew skills too much down here. Your supplies are very nice and cheap. 25 for your standard rounds, 1200, which is a bit pricier for your premium rounds, your APCR. They're not normally quite as pricey as that down here, I don't seem to think. That does seem quite expensive, but anyway. And your H here are only 19, so again, nice and cheap. Consumables, I've just stuck standard consumables on it. It's a tier 2 runabout just for having a bit of fun. So again, I'm not really going to go too much into that. Let's have a look at the actual component parts of it though. The engine, well, there's a lot of engine components in here. It does take up quite a lot of space, and in fact, generally if you're going to get hit, there's a good chance your engine could get damaged. But that 180 horsepower translates to a power to weight ratio of 24.84, which is quite nice for down at tier 2. Not quite as quick as the T2 light tank, but it's still very nippy. And your front, even though the armour is quite thin, it has quite an angled upper glacis, so you can bounce the odd one off there. Just don't count on your armour though. Again, it's sort of movement and your mobility is your key to surviving in this, like it is in so many tanks, especially light tanks and sort of low tier tanks. But you get a decent forward top speed of 64 kilometers an hour and a decent reverse at 20 kilometers an hour. 20 is sort of one of the higher reverse speeds you get down here. Well, in fact, throughout the game altogether, with a 20% chance of fire. Turret on top, good gun elevation though of 25 degrees. In fact, I've got ahead of myself, not turret, gun. Yeah, good elevation of 25 degrees and a good depression as well of 10 degrees. I've not noticed that driver's sort of U-box getting in the way. I really haven't. It's something that I've not really noticed. I don't think it does, but I'll try and have a look at that before I actually get into the replay, so I can let you know in there. But it's not something I've noticed, and I think if it did, I would have noticed it, and you know, it would have been like, oh, hang on a minute, why can't I get my gun down at the front? So anyway, onto the tracks. Terrain resistances aren't too bad. 1.03, 1.37 and 2.51. It does slow down quite a bit on your sort of swampy ground, so try and avoid it if you can. But other than that, it's pretty good over most terrain. Just try and avoid your swampy. It does not, however, keep its concealment bonus on the move like other light tanks, and that's something that I've not really looked at. It's sort of tech tree light tanks, whether they do that. They probably don't, but this doesn't. But it has decent concealment when it's stationary of 0.28, and to be honest, on the move it's still pretty good at 0.21. There's your turret on top. Your radio is in the back of the turret in the bustle. Your ammunition is just at the rear of the turret, so from the rear of the turret ring, a very thin strip stretching down towards the tracks. I don't think I've had my ammo rack damaged in this yet. Doesn't mean it's not going to happen. I think generally it's my engine that gets damaged if I get hit, usually. Crew members, you've only got 3. You've got the driver down in the hull, and then commander and gunner up in the turret. I would imagine either your gunner will double up as a loader or your commander will as well, and one of them will double up as a radio operator on top of that. And armour-wise, there's not really much to speak about. The only thing I've not done yet is bonuses, which I'll mention in a minute, which are a little bit unusual. Again, you know, a bit like the price. But your armour, in fact, it's the same turret and hull. 16 on the front, 14 on the sides, 10 on the rear. There's not much to say about it. It all falls into one bracket. Your upper glacis, like I say, can bounce a few, but don't rely on your armour. Mobility is the key in this, as it is in so many others. And like I said, the only other thing I've got to mention, I think, is the bonuses, which are a bit unusual. You only get a 9% silver bonus, which is unusual for down here. Even for down here, normally it's a bit higher than that. But you get a 70% XP bonus on this tank. So, yeah, 70, which is quite nice. And again, seems higher. Although, I mean, I know they do normally have high ones down here. But yeah, they are just seem a bit unusual. Again, when I go into the replays, I'm going to have a look at some of the other bonuses and see what they actually are, just to comment on that one further. But there you go. It's cheap-ish and cheerful little runabout. I have had some really good fun in this tank, and it's another one of those sort of just little stress reliever, sort of quick crew trainer type thing. I've just stuck the crew in it from a T54 lightweight and do alright in that. But yeah, let's get into replays and see how it actually handles. Here we are for the first of the replays. It's a tier 3 match on Karelia as well, and I don't know why I said as well, but yeah, tier 3 match on Karelia, and I'm just sort of sat not doing anything for a few seconds, just to see where people are going to. I don't know, the last few games I've been on here, I've had a couple where they've spread sort of quite evenly. Recently, the latest couple, you know, not including this one. But they seem to be very all or nothing on here. Either everyone's gone down to that sort of heavy tank valley down on the southeastern side, or everyone's come up this way. But it's a low tier, so you can expect. You see in the low tiers, you know, the vast majority of people down here, you can expect them to be fairly new players. There are a few people down here that aren't. Generally, the premium tank players, not always, but some of the time, are a bit more experienced. But a lot of the time, you're going to get sort of newer players down here. So this is just a bit of a runabout to show you what this is like, and it is a good, fun little tank. Sometimes, if you don't let it aim fully, though, it goes pretty damn wild with the shells, but it can get itself in and out of trouble fairly quickly. And, you know, even though it's .40 accuracy, and this is at, what, 400... Oh, well, that one missed. But this is at just over 400 metres away, and, you know, when I'm aiming properly, I'm hitting every time. So, you know, the accuracy on paper doesn't look great, but then again, it's Russian. So, you know, there is that sort of running joke, isn't there, with Russian tanks? The bigger the number, the better the accuracy. And, yeah, this just seems to be proving it. .40 accuracy, and I've hit most of the shots I've fired so far that have been properly aimed. But it is just a nippy, fun little tank. And I know a lot of the tanks down at sort of tier 2 and 3 generally are sort of light tank in name only, and you know, not normally, or a lot of the time don't sort of have the features of a light tank, or not all of them at least. But yeah, this is a good little fun run around. And also, I mean, that's a tier 3. I know it's a TD, but they can be a bit trolly from the front for some of the lower tiers, the T56s. But yeah, unlike a lot of the lower tier tanks and some of the lower tier premium tier 2 sort of stuff that we've had, I mean the Tomter, the T2, they've sort of got those auto-loading spray and pray guns, whereas this doesn't. This has a proper little tank gun, and that's one of the things I like about it, that it's not a spray and pray as a lot of the lower tier tanks are. That it does have a proper tank gun, that if you wanted to, you know, like I've been in this, I've not exactly been up close, I've been sat, you know, at sort of 400 metres and, you know, between 300 and 400 metres, although I just can't hit this Blitzen to save my life. And I managed to clip his tracks, but I need to move now. And yeah, you know, I've been sat at sort of 300-400 metres away putting shots in and hitting and stuff, so you can play this, especially in your higher tier matches. And I did actually forget to say what it plays up to. But yeah, in your higher tier matches, you can play this as a bit more of a sneaky sniper, in a way, if you wanted to. Or do what I've done in this match for the sort of early part of it, sit back, taking shots at other stuff, and then move in. I was hoping that the Blitzen was on his own, but I managed to circle him, and now I've got this one. Yeah, now I've got another tier 3 as well after me. And I don't know what happened to that, whether it missed or got eaten by his tracks, but I'm starting to take a hit, and I've got to try and avoid the Blitzen and that light tank. And that's after, well, that other one was there, and I just cannot hit him. And when I do, I'm either bouncing, look. That was unfortunate. I'm trying to keep an eye on him and trying to line my shots up so that when he's not moving away and when I'm sort of looking more at him. I did manage to damage the ammo rack. Damage? Can't even talk now. Damage the ammo rack on the Blitzen. Took a hammering from him though. I was going straight away from him there, which was a mistake, but there's nothing else I could do. And the more eagle-eyed may have noticed my ammo count at this point, I hadn't, and was getting frustrated and just trying to avoid his gun. I was on very low health, trying to avoid him. Didn't actually realise at this point I'd run out of ammo until about there, where you hear that little click and it tells me, and it's like, oh crap. So yeah, it was that light tank, the constant misses, sort of brawling or not brawling, just cat and mousing with that light tank. sorely depleted my ammunition supplies. So unfortunately I ran out of ammo, but not a bad game all in all for a little tier 2. A top gun out of it, in fact 7 kills, 889 damage and an ace tanker with just over 3000 XP on a loss, so yeah, not too bad. Quite happy with that one, and it is, like I say, it is a fun tank. It's nice, and I know I said this earlier, and you know, probably a couple of times, but it is nice just to have a proper little tank gun rather than a sort of spray and pray gun. And it does change the way you play the tank. Like I say, you feel more confident in those longer shots, whereas with the spray and prays, you just feel like you've got to get a bit closer, or you've really got to. Well, you can't just spray from a distance. You know, it just sounds wrong. You've got to pull your trigger, let it fire whatever it's going to fire out. Sometimes it's 2, 3, 4 shots per pull of the trigger, and then let it aim in again. Whereas it's quite different with this. Anyway, here we are for the next round. It's tier 2 on Himmelsdorf, and I think, as is normal, like I said, I don't spend much time in tier 2, but I think as is normal with tier 2s, it's 11 aside. They do seem to be slightly reduced matchmaking. Now, I mean, obviously there are advantages to the spray and pray type guns, because you do have massive burst potential when you do get up close to them. But for those of you that want a cheap, low tier premium to have a run around in, but you don't like that type of gun, this is definitely one that I would when I can talk, I would recommend looking at. The other one possibly would be, there's an M3, I think they call it the M3 Lite, and it's a Russian premium version of the M3, and it's not on very often, but that's one that maybe, again, if you want something low tier fun but you don't like that type of thing, keep an eye out for. But anyway, back to the Tetrarch. So I've come up and over the hill. I did mention about keeping an eye on the that banana road underneath, but nobody really seems to. There is a couple of light tanks pushing their way up there, so I'm going to see. I did consider spinning it around actually and going back down to deal with them, but I thought, no, do you know what, I'm going to try and get over here. Yeah, that didn't work. I didn't think you could get over there from this side, but I've never tried, so I thought I'd give it a try. But no, you can't. But I want to get back and get this TD, and yeah, I do feel a bit guilty down here at times. Now he's pulled himself into there, backed up into there, but he's facing the other way, waiting for that other light tank that came up the hill to come down there, and unfortunately I'm sat behind him and took him down. So banana road, well, there are a couple of things down there, but I think it seems alright. I was again going to flick off to the right and go after that light tank that's going up towards the hill, but Artie popped up, and yeah, didn't let it aim, and it went really wide. Now, we are getting capped. There is somebody up there fighting them though, and Himmelsdorf isn't a big map, and I'm quick enough to get around. But let's see if we can take down these guys first. Now he is, well, yeah, he's AFK, but he's still going to spot me. And there's still a chance that, you know, I could be zipping up, concentrating on the R35, and he could decide that he's not AFK anymore and turn around and put some shells into, well, my side or rear. So, farm a bit of damage, take him down, work on the R35, and they are a tough tank, and I actually got a bit overconfident and thought I killed him with that one, which is why I stopped aiming and started moving. And it just took a split second for me to register that it actually bounced. Right. That's kill number 5. Who's next? Now, what do we have up here? Let's just start heading towards the enemy. There we have a... Is that another R35? Quite a tough little tier 2 tank, those. But this doesn't really have much problem penning them. Now, I did block one of those shots. And again, I do feel kind of bad taking down the little T1 there. But, you know, these things happen, unfortunately. Yeah, I don't, this is, you see, this is why I did say in the garage I don't spend a lot of time down at tier 2, and this is why, because I just feel kind of guilty. You know, I'm an experienced player. Most of these guys probably aren't. So I do feel a little bit bad sort of seal clubbing so much down here. I was getting a bit keen on the trigger pulls there, just trying to take him down. But yeah, they, you know, the R35 is a fairly tough tank. This doesn't seem to struggle with them. I didn't mean to say great shot, I meant to say on my way. Heading back over there to try and take down that last light tank before the game's over. But yeah, this is why I don't spend too much time down here, especially in stuff like this. I mean, it is just a proper beastly little tier 2 run around. And he got taken out before I could get the next shot off, and that's it for the game. And again, another 7 kills. And if anybody saw my tweet earlier about, you know, just got 7 kills in a match at tier 2, feel a bit guilty and dirty, need a shower. Yeah, that was the match. It did feel a bit wrong. Got another ace out of it, another top gun. You don't get Destroyer, is it? Devastator. Devastator. You don't get Devastator down at tier 2. You've got to be a certain tier for that one. But there you go. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed that one. It's a good little fun run around. If you want to have a change of pace from the top tiers, and again, like I said earlier, it is nice to have a proper little tank gun on it rather than spray and pray. But there you go, the Tetrarch, which should be in the premium tech tree from tomorrow, which is Tuesday the 6th of February. Anyway, I'll be back tomorrow with another video for you, so until then, take care of that, and I'll catch you next time. See you later.